I would like to relate a real story to you that influenced the way I viewed my life from an early age. I have read a lot of the fiction written here, and it surprises me how many people fantasize about some of the things which actually happened to me. I am no great writer, so please bear with my attempts to tell you of my own secret. I am still quite embarrassed about some of my experiences, but nonetheless I think some of you will find an echo in your own lives. It was simply a phase of my life that, as I get older, I can see helped me enormously to understand myself and my relationship to women and the feminine world. When I was about 9 years old, I developed an interest in women's clothes. The difference of the textures, colors, and feel of feminine clothes was quite intoxicating to me at that age. I began to make secret explorations into my mother's clothes and managed to retrieve some of her discards before they were sent to the op shop. Whenever I had the chance, I would secretly try them on and would often slip into some panties and a silky top under my own clothes. My favorite was to wear some really pretty underwear and a silky slip under my loose tracksuit. Knowing that I was wearing them and no one else could tell was a source of great pleasure to me. I'm sure many of you feminine men out there will know what I mean. Anyhow, to get to bottom of my story, so to speak. One fateful weekend, I was wearing my femme things under my tracksuit. My mother suddenly had to go into work due to some problems that needed to be sorted out before Monday. On this weekend, my father was also away with his job and my mother couldn't leave me on my own, so she quickly came into my room and told me that we had to leave immediately. She told me I would have to stay with her best friend Helen for the day. I didn't have any time to change my clothes and wasn't too worried. I really liked Helen. She was fun and very easy to take. She lived on her own. Mom dropped me off and rushed to work. The day went ahead quite normally at first, then Helen called me out to the backyard to help her carry some leaf litter to the compost pile. I didn't even think about what I was wearing underneath my tracksuit. I helped her until it was all cleared. A lot of the leaf litter was wet and dirty, so my tracksuit copped the lot. I was a mess from head to toe. When Helen saw the state I was in, she became quite upset. Worried that Mom would be mad when she saw how dirty I was. Without giving me a choice, she marched me off to the laundry. "Okay, honey, slip out of those clothes and put them in the washing machine. I've got a tracksuit you can wear until they're dry," she said. Can you imagine how terrified I was? I had no idea how I was going to hide what I was wearing underneath. I hoped that she would leave me alone so I could take my pretty things off and hide them somewhere, but no way. "Come on, sweetie, be quick. Don't be embarrassed, I've seen boys in their undies before, you know." She laughed. God! What was I going to do? I stood there frozen to the spot. She hassled me again and said she would do it herself if I didn't hurry or they wouldn't be dry again before Mom came back. I remained frozen to the spot and white as a ghost. The next minute she reached over to me saying, "I haven't got time for this pedal." Before I knew it, she had pulled down my tracksuit pants and was in the process of taking off my top when she saw what I was wearing. "Oh my God! It's a slip, you've girls' things on," she exclaimed. I went bright red, sending a huge flush of embarrassment all over my body. Even my knees felt weak. "Does your mom let you wear these?" she asked with a curious smile. "Well, she doesn't really know," I mumbled. "No wonder you didn't want to get undressed in front of me," she said. She seemed to go red in the face herself as she stood back and looked at me in my slip and panties. "I'm sorry, honey. I really didn't mean to embarrass you. I really am sorry." God, and there I was worrying whether you would mind wearing my pink tracksuit. Well. She thought for a moment. "Hang on a minute," she said as she raced off out of the laundry, leaving me standing there feeling like the most exposed creature in the world. She arrived back shortly afterwards and held out a dress, tights, and shoes to me. I went bright red again. "Don't worry, sweet pea, you look really lovely, and since you're already wearing a slip, you'd look a little better in a dress than tracksuit pants, don't you think?" How about it? Are you game? I was amazed. I expected her to go ballistic, but she was really quite tickled by the idea of me wearing such feminine clothes. A huge smile began to form on my face when I realized that she didn't mind and that I was going to have the chance to dress up completely like a girl. Before long I was dressed from head to toe as a girl. It was delicious. I loved every minute of it. She took me into her room and played with my hair and put a little makeup and perfume on me. It really was a dream come true. Shortly after, there was a knock on the front door. I suddenly remembered that Mom would be coming back soon to pick me up. I began to panic and desperately wanted to strip them all off. Helen told me not to worry. Mom wouldn't be back till tea time. It must just be one of her friends. She went downstairs to answer the door and I stayed in her room waiting for her to come back and give me the all clear. I heard her giggling with another woman but couldn't hear what they were talking about. A few moments later I heard their footsteps getting closer, and then before I had a chance to hide, the door opened and Helen and her friend walked straight in. Caught again! I thought. Don't worry, Jessie dear, it's just Madeline, you know her, a friend of mine. I just had to show her how beautiful you look in that dress, Helen said with a huge smile on her face and gleam in her eye. Jessie? What was she talking about? Did she mean me? Had she told her that I was a boy, or was she pretending? Was she sending me up or Madeline? I had no idea how to react, so I just smiled weakly and tried to hide my embarrassment. Yes, Jessie, don't worry, Helen told me all about you. We thought it would be fun, you know, to call you by a girl's name. It matches the dress. Madeline laughed. I think you look gorgeous. I think boys should get a chance to dress like girls. Girls dress like boys sometimes. Fair's fair. She laughed again, then turned to Helen. I'd love to get my hubby into something pretty. Let him feel what it's like too. She giggled. I knew Madeline's husband, and the thought of him wearing a dress brought a smile to my lips, and I started to giggle. Helen started to giggle with me. See, she's giggling, she laughed. So you giggle like us too, Jessie? Just one of the girls, hey. Madeline's giggling got louder. Helen burst in saying, I'd love to see my dentist in a dress, the way he pervs at me in the chair. I'd like to dress him in something pretty and put him in his place. Oh, how incredibly sexy, he's so good looking too. A bit of lip gloss, a little liner, and he'd turn she. Or we'd make her. Madeline laughed. Before long we were in all in fits, and it became a game of imagining different men in dresses. For me it was just the image that was funny, but for Helen and Madeline it held a host of adult feelings that escaped me at the time. But I loved laughing with them, being included in their secret giggles. There was something very intimate about it. I suddenly felt surrounded and overwhelmed by all this femininity, the clothes around my body, the scent of the room, and the happy, friendly women giggling and smiling as they looked at me. The part of me that wanted to run seemed to melt away into the atmosphere. I don't ever remember feeling more comfortable, contented, and connected. We spent the remainder of the afternoon in the kitchen, eating, giggling, sipping, and laughing as we sat by the table overlooking the garden. For me it was heavenly being dressed in such beautiful clothes with two beautiful women who treated me as a little sister. Their conversation went all over the place, from serious stuff to giggly tales and back again. I loved hearing their wit. Women are so different when they're together, much more relaxed and real. It made me wonder why adults put up such masks to the outside world. Like they're playing a role in a play, a different person for each occasion. Pretty soon the light began to fade and Helen started to make some dinner. Madeline poured them both some more wine and made a point of pouring me some juice in the same sort of glass. Here, Jessie, do you want to top up? God, that dress suits you so much, brings out the color in your hair and eyes. You look so sweet. I remember when I was your age. I used to love really feminine things too. You were completely over the top, dearie. Helen called out. Yes, well, I was pretty cute. If you've got it, flaunt it. Madeline laughed. I spent most of my time dressed as a boy. I hated anything frilly, and dresses used to make me itch. I hardly ever wore one until I noticed how much boys liked me in them. Helen giggled. How typical Helen. But you like feminine clothes now, don't you? I mean, you look quite good dressed up as a girl, Helen. Madeline cackled. Very good, Maddie. Yeah, it's fun to dress up sometimes, and it feels great being en femme as the trannies call it, but... Well, each to their own. I'm sure if you were a man you'd be a drag queen for sure. I might even fancy you. Oh, you gay thing. Yeah, you're probably right. Doesn't take much to get me in a frock. Madeline laughed. We all laughed together. I loved their humor. I loved being a girl with them. It was so easy. So normal, until... In the middle of all our laughter, the smell of the food, the perfume and wine, to my complete and utter surprise, who should suddenly walk straight into the kitchen without any warning? Yes. My mother! With Helen and Madeline half drunk and giggling by the bench and me tittering at the table, dressed from head to toe as a feminine little girl, with a ribbon in my hair, makeup on my face and a wine glass in hand like the other two women. We had completely forgotten about the time. I was supposed to have changed back into my tracksuit ages ago. Oh shit! Mom looked completely shocked. We all looked completely shocked. There was total silence save the sound of the frying pan sizzling on the stove. No one knew what to say, and my two so-called adult friends looked totally stuck for words. A great bloody help. What the hell is going on? Why are you dressed like that? I'm sure I dropped off a little boy today. She demanded silence from the rest of us. Well. Hello. Anyone here? Perhaps I should walk out and try again, and perhaps I'll come back in and recognize someone. And maybe someone will explain this to me. Well. Jan. It's like... Well, you explain, Helen, it was your idea. Madeline muttered. Yes, Helen. It is your place. Remember how I left my son with you this morning? Remember how you said you would look after him? Is this what you call looking after him, by getting drunk and turning him into a girl? Shit, Helen. Are you for real? I don't need you to screw with his head too. He's got his father and I to do that. Mom exclaimed. Madeline suddenly started to giggle again. With that, Helen started to cackle with her. Oh shit, you too. I've been stressed out all day trying to get those bastards at work to get it together for once, only to come back to the people I trust and find this. You're so bloody irresponsible, completely hopeless. Mom yelled. Oh, calm down, Jan, chill out, as they say. You always jump to the worst possible conclusions. Thank God I'm not married to you. You must drive him crazy. Relax. It's all very innocent, and we were all having such a lovely time together before you blew in. Helen said. Dressing my son as a girl, you mean? Mom replied, oh God, so what, Jan? Even you used to play dress-ups, remember? I do. Madeline said. I couldn't hold back my anger at Mom any longer. I wanted to. Mom, really, it isn't Helen or Madeline's fault. I wanted to, all right. I like it. I love it. She caught me wearing your things. I've been wearing girls' clothes for ages. And I couldn't ever tell you 'cause you're so angry at everyone all the time. No one's good enough for you, and Helen and Madeline aren't angry, they're fun to be with and they like me like this. I burst into tears. Mom came over to me and put her arm out to me, but I pushed her away. I'm sick of you being angry all the time, no matter what I do or who I'm with. You're awful to be with, really awful. I sobbed and sobbed. With that, my mother started to cry too. Yeah, well, I hate to say it, Jan, but you have been a pain lately. You know how much we love you, we're not your enemy, and I don't like being called irresponsible by someone who can't find the time to be open for their child. It isn't all about you, you've got a beautiful child with an amazing being for her. I mean his age, why don't you spend some time with him? She's fantastic, I wish more males were like him. Helen said as she began to sob too. Mom looked over to me, as if she was waiting for me to comfort her. I looked away again, still angry that she had ruined a really lovely day. Then she came over to me, hugged me tightly to her. I'm sorry, honey. I didn't know, I love you. Without boring you too much with all the emotion, this marked a major turning point in my life, and hers. We all hugged and gently sobbed together. It was a very special moment. After the emotion had passed, Madeline presented Mom with a wine glass like the rest of us and filled it up. Here, Jan, drink. The dinner is cooking, your husband is away and you're with your best friends, work is finished and life is good, let's enjoy ourselves and each other. Madeline said. We spent the rest of the evening giggling, laughing, playing Scrabble, dancing and joking. All that time I was dressed as a girl. My mother really unwound, we joked and teased each other. She even started calling me Jessie too. Around 11 o'clock, long after I would usually be in bed, I finally collapsed in a feminine heap on the couch. I don't know how long the others stayed up that night. It must have been very late, because when I woke in the morning, I was in one of Helen's bedrooms. When I threw the covers off me to get up and go to the toilet, I was suddenly made aware of what had happened yesterday. A soft feminine nightie swished around me as I moved. Laying on my bed was one of Helen's dressing gowns with note attached saying, "Hi Jessie, here's a dressing gown for you, feel free to make yourself some breakfast. We'll be up a little later. Love Mom." I wandered downstairs and got some cereal to eat. I sat at the table in my dressing gown and nightie, as if I had always dressed like this, as if it was the times before that were odd, not this. After an hour or so I heard some footsteps and I felt my mother come close to me. She stood behind me with her arms over me, gently stroking my hair. "It's a beautiful day, isn't it?" she whispered. "Yes, Mom, it's the best," I replied. You may think that this is the end of my story, or that it's not really true, but I can tell you that it really happened. Not only did it happen once, but it became quite a regular thing between us all. Every so often we would all meet at Helen's or Madeline's place, whenever we could arrange to be away from the men in our families. Each time I would dress as one of the girls, mostly so we could all feel the same. I didn't cross-dress much at home. Mom let me wear anything I wanted from then on, but with Dad around it was too hard. And meeting up with the girls always made it easy, relaxed and normal. Mom and I had a different relationship at Helen's or Maddie's place. We were more like older and younger sisters. It was so lovely, I adore them all. It became so normal to be out shopping with them and for them to buy some things for me too. I was always included, but as a girl, not a boy. What may surprise you to know is that today I am happily married with 2 children of my own. My wife knows all about my childhood and teens spent as an occasional female. We are both still great friends with Maddie, Helen, and of course my mom. And yes, occasionally I will cross-dress with the girls when we are all together, but mostly I am my male self. I don't cross-dress my children and I am always their father, not their mother. My wife adores me no matter what. She has always wanted to be with a whole person, not just a role model, and I love her for it. But I am her man, not her woman, though she does prefer me to wear something pretty and silky in bed. Ah, the joys of being alive.